Welcome to Game Pass News, recorded January 20th, 2022. We got a lot of stuff to be talking about. We're going to be talking about acquisitions, predictions, and if I had another shin word, that would have been really cool, but I don't. But I'm here, Nick Metzger, with my co-host, Sean Abbott. And Sean, my major question to you is, if you had $69 billion, what would you buy?
I, I'd buy a lot of things. There's a lot of. I wouldn't go and spend it all on one big thing like Phil Spencer has. But I'd maybe buy. I don't know. You could easily you could buy £100 million houses and still have billions left in the bank. It's like, what do you do with that much money? But no, I'd buy a better podcasting studio than the bloody kitchen.
You can buy an entire house for a podcasting studio.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. There's so much. I'd want to leave so much for the kids, but at the same time, I wouldn't want it to be easily accessible for them because that amount of money changes people, and I think they're all great. So, but now, what about you? What would you buy?
Listen, Sean, I thought about this long and hard yesterday when I was like, I'm going to ask Sean this question. And obviously I knew I would then be answering it. And I'd buy an island. Okay. Legit. I'd buy an island. I'd pay for somebody to put some kind of power plant on the island so I'd have continual power. I'd pay for Elon Musk to shoot me up my own satellite so that I'd have my internet. And then I'd buy a charter jet for you so that you could just fly over to my island and we could podcast together, whenever you had time. That's what I'd do. I don't know how much money that would be. I don't know how much I'd have left, but that's what I would do. I mean,
that's good.
You could live on my island if you wanted to. You could build a house on there if you wanted to.
If you're going to have a power station there, it's like I've got quite a lot of knowledge about power stations.
That's true. Yeah,
that could be my day job.
I love it. Yeah, man, that's what I would do with that crazy amount of cash. But if you're wondering, why are we talking about having $70 billion, which none of us do, I'm lucky. When I put on my winter coat for the first time, if I find $1, I get super excited. So I definitely don't have $70 billion. But I can tell you who does. Microsoft and Phil Spencer. And
they don't anymore.
They don't anymore. It was burning a hole in their pocket, and they were like, you know what? Let's buy something. Activision looks good. Let's buy them. And that's what they did, which I'm sure most of you already know about. But let's chat about it. The implications for Xbox for buying Activision. Man, what do you think about this? What is your first thoughts?
Initial thoughts. As a gamer who uses a subscription service to play games, my initial thought was, that's just awesome. Well done. Am I going to be able to play Call of Duty Vanguard, included in my subscription cost? Am I going to be able to play Crash Bandicoot trilogies, Spyro trilogies? Am I going to get awesome games like Warhammer from Blizzard? It's like, oh my god, this is amazing. Yeah. And then the more I've sat back and I thought about it, and I've thought about what John's been saying in the Discord about, I'm going to go across to Sony and buy a PlayStation. It's kind of like, I get where he's coming from because it's a big company buying a big company to make a bigger company. They're going to corner the market. These big games, these big AAA games that people wait for all year, like Call of Duties and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Our Xbox going to hold that and say, well, we own that. We own Treyarch, we own Infinity Ward, and we own Activision, which are the three main people that make Call of Duty games. Are we going to hold them hostage and nobody else can play them unless you've got an Xbox and unless you've got Game Pass News? But then part of me also thinks that Xbox have never been really big on sale numbers. They're currently big about, we've got this many subscribers to our service, this, that, and the other. Is buying Activision and having access to those AAA games just a way of them being able to show that, yes, as well as having so many subscribers, we can still market and sell a game and get sale numbers. So, yeah, I can see both sides of the coin, but I'm still very excited.
Yeah, for me, I'm really excited, and we can kind of jump in jump into this, the other thing is, what is not for Xbox, what's the implications for the gaming industry, so we can kind of merge these two. First, for Xbox, their Game Pass subscriber numbers will severely skyrocket. I mean, there's just no doubt. Will they hold this hostage? Well, that's a play on words. That's a play on words that Phil, I think, has been having for a while. Like, so if you go back to an interview they did, I don't know, he did about 6 months ago, he says, listen, we want everybody to be able to play our games on whatever platform they want. And that makes people love Xbox, right? They're like, oh, they're inclusive, they don't care, they think it's great. But the problem is, like, us old gamers, when we think of, like, or at least me, okay, sorry, I didn't mean to call you old. At least me, old gamer, when I think of that initially, I think of, okay, so what's going to happen here is when I go to I don't have a PlayStation, but let's say I did. And I go to my PlayStation, I'm still going to be able to find Call of Duty in 2024. It's going to be fine. It's going to be there. I'm going to go on the Play Store. I'm going to get it. I'm going to download it. I'm going to play it. That is not, I think, what Microsoft means by you can play games wherever. We want you to be able to play your games wherever we want. What I think they mean by that is you can play your Call of Duty wherever you want, on a toaster, on a fridge, on a PlayStation, on a Switch, as long as the platform is willing to put our Game Pass subscription or our xCloud subscription on their platform. So is Activision games going to be held to an Xbox, hostage on an Xbox? No, it's not. It's going to be held hostage on a Game Pass subscription. That's what I think.
Yeah, but I can never see Sony allowing people to access a Game Pass subscription.
No,
ever on their device.
Totally agree with you. But that's going to be the toy back and forth lingo that Microsoft uses. People are going to get pissed, and Phil's going to say, "Listen, we will put your games on a Sony. We are happy to do that. Just go talk to your platform and ask them to put Game Pass on the platform, and you can play all these games and more right there on your Sony device."
Yeah. My other thought is that with the news that Sony are going to start a subscription style service, is this Xbox turning around and going, look, we did this first. We've got bigger balls than you. We've spent the money. Come at us with your new subscription service, which is teeny weeny tiny and new, and we'll just smush it into the ground because we're bigger, better, and we've got this selection of game developers behind us already, and we've just acquired this selection. So,
yeah,
it's Phil flexing.
Oh no, you're totally right. It is. So you got Xbox, who has I would say pretty easily the premier subscription service right now. When it comes to gaming. And what they want to make sure of in this acquisition, they want to make sure that they have the uncatchable premier subscription service. Like, they want to make sure that when Sony comes up with theirs, there is just it is no way that they're going to be able to catch where Xbox has gotten Game Pass to this point. That's I agree with you, and that's why they did it. They were afraid that if Sony comes out, but now Sony has to decide, do they want to come out, because they have a subscription service, right? But it's kind of flat. It's not very good. It doesn't, at least, I mean, I've never used it, but from what I hear on Twitter, it doesn't compare to what Game Pass is. So now Sony has to decide, do they want to come out, rock it, and spend shit tons of money to try to catch up with Xbox in this subscription deal, or not? Because that's really, like, that's the option. Like, there's only two. You either come out with something that's somewhat flat and that doesn't even compare to Game Pass, to Game Pass, or you spend a lot of cash and you take losses like Xbox did, and to make something that is a premier subscription service like what Game Pass is.
Yeah, I mean, and then as well as the information, it came out with the information of the deal they're going to do with Activision, which is going to be, which we keep talking about it, but it's not going to be for another year. That's not going to happen for another 12 months. It's going to be early 2023 before we actually start seeing anything from this.
Yeah.
They announced that they've hit the 25 million subscriber goal.
Mm-hmm.
25 million people paying a minimum to have the service $7.99 a month. It's 800. You've got nearly 800 million. Did it work out? No, sorry, 200 million a month. So you do that by 12. You've got your 1.2 billion nearly a year.
Yeah. I did some quick, just real quick searching back of the napkin figures of Activision's online users. They have somewhere, this is not an official number by any sense of the means. I just searched World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, that kind of stuff. They have somewhere around 150 million online users. Now let's assume half of those are willing to stick with Xbox and follow over to Game Pass subscriptions to play those games, wherever that be, whether it be on a PC, because like I said, this is not held to an Xbox, which I think is another conversation we can have here in a little bit. But they're willing to follow over. That means that Game Pass, when this is all done, will have 100 million subscribers. And I think that's very doable with this acquisition.
Which is a lot. It's a lot of subscribers, a lot of money coming in on your subscription service every month to have that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it really is.
It's going to be interesting to see what Business Justin has to say about this, because I'm assuming that he will at some point be discussing this.
Oh yeah, I would hope so. But yeah, for sure. But the other thing I keep hearing on Twitter is, oh, there's no way Xbox is making up their money on this. This is just a loss, blah, blah. It's not. If they add 75 million users to their database, they will be quickly able to make up their money in 8 years, which as a business investment is no big deal. 8 years to start profiting on an investment. It's a gamble, but it's surely possible to be making money in no time on this. So
it's like CA. So it's definitely a 5-year investment. Yeah, just on subscriptions, nothing else. Just purely subscription basis. It's a 5-year investment.
Yeah, with those numbers, that's an easy. Those seem like pretty conservative numbers. Like how many you think you're going to gain, and I think it's. Even if they're lower than that and they look at a 10-year, that still for a board is an easy yes. Sure, why not? Let's do it. We're gonna put the crunch on our competitors, and we are going to also be making money at some point off of this gig within 10 years, which for a business like Microsoft is no big shake. Their strategic plans are out that far for sure. So I think that's great. The other part of this, which I think is interesting, that Microsoft was willing. This was probably the biggest conversation in the boardroom. Would be my guess, is that they took on Activision's junk, their sexual harassment, their lawsuits, their bad culture. They took on Bobby Kotick at the moment. So far, there are rumors he'll step down when this whole thing is done, but those are rumors. That is not true. That's a Wall Street Journal had said something about that. Microsoft nor Activision has said anything about getting rid of him when and if this acquisition all goes through. So what do you think about that portion of it?
I don't know. With Phil turning around and saying that he is now the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, so he's appointed himself a new title, and there was a couple of other things that I kind of read through that, the certain aspects of the developers are going to be standalone and are going to continue to be standalone. And then there's other aspects of it that, they're going to report directly to me. Given Xbox's history with online bullying, and, basically last week we were saying that, he openly wants to kind of level the playing field, that everybody follows the same suit as them, that, we don't, if somebody reports somebody for bullying, harassment of any form, that we kind of, it's a ban, boom, you can't play. Or not maybe a permanent ban, but, you get soft bans where it's for 24 hours and then you get 7 days. It's kind of like Facebook's way of doing things
Mm-hmm.
because they have that kind of policy. I can see if Bobby doesn't want to get involved and doesn't want to play kind of ball with all that and let the players be the players. I can see him going. He'd be like, look, we buy you, we own. It's not because like they bought a share of Activision. It's not like they bought the majority share. They have bought it outright.
Right.
So, I mean, even at the bottom of the article on the Xbox Wire news page, you go down and they've even got a new structure, a whole new like tree structure of everybody. And like looking at it now, you've got Phil Spencer as CEO of Microsoft Gaming, and then you go down and you've got like the chief vice president. I'm assuming that's what CVP is, and then you've got the VP of all different aspects of gaming. So you've got human resources, product services, obviously for the swag that they make. We've got people that are focused purely on the gaming cloud of things, and then can't see the further branch underneath them, but I can only imagine that it's going to branch further and further out, and then you'll have like people who directly link as a contract owner, so to speak, with Activision and Blizzard and King and Treyarch and Infinity Ward, all the different. It's just
Yeah, I would. I would agree. Well, one, I think just a shout out to Hambone. How you doing, man? Thanks for hopping in. Appreciate you. I think it's a very interesting article that got put out last week about him talking about how they're dealing with other partners. By the way, partners. I don't know if that was planned that Phil comes out. By the way, let me back up. He had an article and they were asked about how they're dealing with Activision before the news of the acquisition. It was a couple weeks ago or last week at least. And so he was saying, well, they know we're going to deal with them differently. They know that we don't have this. We don't want to, what'd they say, moral shame or something like that, other companies, but we certainly want to make sure this doesn't happen. I mean, one, if that wasn't planned, that Phil got to field that question and kind of handle that before the acquisition. If it wasn't planned, Phil had to be thinking, well, this is just hilarious. But I bet, knowing Phil, that was planned. He was like, listen, you asked me about Activision. Please do. I would love to. So that way he got out in front of that before the acquisition news even came out. I think it's a good thing for gaming that Microsoft gets to handle this. I think gets to handle Activision stuff. I hope they do right by it, because the gaming industry is not a forgiving industry when it comes to mishandling these kinds of cases, as Activision can obviously see. If Microsoft handles these issues rightly and gets rid of the bad actors and brings justice to the victims, then I think it'll be a good thing for them and for gaming in general. So we'll see if that happens.
I mean, in terms of getting rid of the especially for the sexual harassment one, that's the guy that voices Ghost, isn't it, in Call of Duty? That's the big one. That was the big.
Is it? See, I don't know all the people that were the issues, to be fair. So I can't.
It was comments that he was making online. It was comments that he was making on Twitch in live streams and things like that, and names that he was calling people. And I believe they cut him. They got rid of him as the voice actor.
Yeah.
So they did take a positive step in that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it took a lot for that to happen. So.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, everybody wants to see the CEO, Bobby Kotick, gone. So we'll see, what steps they take that way or what steps they don't. It'll certainly be very interesting. The other conversation, and you touched on it, that I wanted to have about this was that Phil Spencer is now the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. I'm guessing that came down from Nadella or the board, that they'll change that. And that was quiet. It wasn't a big deal. Nobody made a big deal of it. It actually, I don't know if anybody would have known, except for the fact that we got a letter that was sent to staff. But I think that's a bigger deal. That's a foreshadow of bigger things to come. And I don't know if we will be talking about Xbox the same way in a year or so. I really think that they want on the public facing side of things to move away from Xbox because Xbox is only now a very small portion of what they do. In fact,
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's going to be a portion of what they do for 10 years down the road. I don't even know if there will be a box that we would
Yeah.
call an Xbox.
Yeah. The Xbox is the hardware. So that's your console that sits in your living room, your bedroom, wherever you decide you want to stick it. But yeah, that the Xbox is the hardware. It isn't what the company is known for. It isn't the name of the company. So yeah, are we going to turn around? Are we going to be calling it Xbox, or are we going to call it Microsoft Gaming, or some
Hopefully we
other
don't call it
collaboration
Microsoft
names?
Gaming. That's
No.
my big hope. Hopefully they come up with something that's jazzy, that's not Microsoft Gaming because that really reeks of like the 90s Microsoft of like Windows 95 Office Microsoft Edition. Like it's just it's horrible. I don't want that to be what they call it, but I do think they need to come up with an umbrella name that covers what they are. But Microsoft Gaming just sounds corporate and no fun. Just to be.
You see now, but the thing is that you've got a brand that's well known. So Xbox is well known. It's known throughout homes and businesses and stuff like that. People when you talk about what console have you got or what console are you interested in getting, you say Xbox, so you automatically know that you're dealing with Microsoft. So they spent a long time building this brand. Do they want to get rid of that? That's also
That
my other thought on it.
that is a great point. That also is a great point. Like, what do you do with that particular thing? I don't know. Um, but also, it is a great brand, but when you've morphed your product so much that the brand you've built up no longer really points to the products you're building, like when is that you have to make that painful transition to a new name that more because when new people come in and they're like, yeah, I'm playing Xbox, but I'm playing on my phone in xCloud, and it doesn't have much to do with the box, so I don't really know what this name's all about, but that's great. That doesn't matter. It's like, well, now we've got products that don't point to the brand name anymore, so when do you make that painful transition, I guess?
Yeah, yeah, I suppose. It's just a difficult one. I wouldn't want them to see them get rid of Xbox as a name because it's what 20 years we've been calling it Xbox. So
Meta. Hambone says meta.
yeah,
That's everything's meta. Yeah, why not?
yeah, that's based that. Come on, that was Zuckerberg's way of getting out of lawsuits. Change the name.
That's right. We could just call it Metax. So it's just like Metax, It's just like
Yeah,
keep the X and just add meta and just put X at the end. X meta sounds weird, so I don't know. Um, that's good. So yeah, so man. I mean, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see what happens through all this. Obviously, stuff will roll out this year. There's a whole nother segment that I tried to read up on, but people go to college for like 100 years, which is the fact that, which is the fact of how easy is this going to pass through our American law system, like with antitrust monopolies and all that jazz. Like, is this going to be an issue or not? And I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea. From what I read online, people think that it'll pass pretty easily because they're not in direct competition with each other. Um,
yeah.
but
That's the thing is that if it if it if Microsoft had bought a share of Activision, that probably starts to create a more difficult working relationship because they're not the sole proprietors of that company. But because they basically bought it and gone, like Bethesda, you are mine now. You will do what we say to do when you need to do it, but you operate quite nicely as a company on your own. So the face of things change on the outside, but internally it continues to work the same. So
yeah,
though Activision will probably still have its own fire and hiring policy, they don't have to worry about introducing Microsoft's fire and hiring policies. there's probably a lot there that you say in the cart system you can skip through and go, oh, well, you've already got that in place. You've already got that in place. We don't need to change that. There might be a few T's and I's to sort out, but yeah, I can say that's probably why they've given it 12 months to kind of have that done and dusted.
Yeah, and that does make sense. I also wonder, and again, I don't know the qualifications for antitrust. I'm not an expert at this at all. But I also wonder if if Microsoft allowing Xbox to be on the PlayStation, if they wanted it to be, comes into play. Because I know, a lot of times you're talking about a monopoly. People are going to say, well, the only place that you can play this game is on an Xbox, and that's not fair because that's a monopoly. And if Xbox can say, no, we'll let them play this game wherever they want to play it. We're not withholding it to our hardware. I wonder if that's going to help them in there or not. I don't know if it does, but I have a feeling it may.
I still can't see them holding it. The games that they have with that acquisition, for me, it wouldn't make sense for them to do it. It'd be a very silly thing to do because it would cause too much of a bad taste with Xbox, I believe.
Wait. So you don't think they're gonna hold? You don't think they're gonna hold Call of Duties behind Game Pass?
No, I think if you've got Game Pass, you feel free to download it and as part of your subscription. But then I also think that if you don't have Game Pass and you're not playing it on an Xbox, you'll still be able to go to the store, buy it, and play it. It's just the benefit that some people are going to have is you don't have to pay for it because you pay a monthly subscription service.
Oh man, this will be fun to see because I don't think this is Microsoft's strategy at all. This will be really fun to see who's right. I really think that they want to force you to Game Pass, and as I've said, they're willing to put it wherever. But, and I mean, yeah, I mean, Game Pass is their baby. Why would they let people subscribe? Why would they let people get it other places other than? So they're just going to put it on the PlayStation Store, and I guess Call of Duty.
No. You can either go and buy this game physically.
I
don't physically or digitally. Yes, at the same price because they'll be able to dictate the price of that. But then the swinger of that is, or you can subscribe to our service of $7.99 a month if you're a PC player, and we'll openly put this game to cloud, to console and PC, and PC. Probably wouldn't run very well on cloud once you've got stupidly good internet. And you can have it there because there's also a lot of people that play Call of Duty that are PC players. Most streamers that I watch stream PC, like Stone Mountain and stuff like that, who are playing Call of Duty are PC players, not console players, they're PC players. Yeah. So, you could get this.
No, go ahead, sir.
So you could get this game as part of our subscription service. So you're directing people to your subscription service. You're not forcing them. It's like Netflix and it's like a Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus battle. You pick and choose which kind of things that you want. You've got the open ability that, I want to watch this on Amazon, but I can't do that unless I pay for Amazon. And you can sit there and go, well, 6 to 12 months time, it might come out on Netflix, or they'll switch everything around and I might be able to watch it somewhere else, or it'll just be on TV. A lot of people, I think, will still apply that kind of theory to a game, because I'm not bothered about buying Call of Duty Vanguard because I used to play Warzone, and you don't have to have Vanguard to play Warzone. It helps because you just unlock different skins, but I'm not bothered about skins. I just want to shoot people. So
Sean's a real nice guy. Don't take that personally, people. Yeah.
So the only reason to buy the new Call of Duty is to play the multiplayer maps that come with that game. So I don't know. I don't know how. It's just I can't see them forcing people. I can see them guiding people to it, but I can't see them forcing. Forcing would be a really stupid thing to do because it'll turn so many people off.
See, I think they'll do it. I think what they're going to do now, if you're on a PC, because you'll be able to buy this off of the. I don't think it's only going to be on Game Pass. It'll be on the Microsoft Store. So if you're on a PC, you'll be able to buy it off the Microsoft Store, play it on your PC like normal, or play it on you can buy it off of the Microsoft Store for an Xbox, or you can do Game Pass. And I think those are going to be the options. And they're going to tell people, or xCloud for that matter. I think it'll run on xCloud. I mean, Halo Infinite runs on xCloud. So yeah, I think it would. I mean, I don't know, but I think it would. And then they're going to say, listen, if you want to play it on a Sony, we're happy to do it, but we're not going to do it unless Game Pass unless it's going to be on, unless your platform's going to allow Game Pass or xCloud to be on there. That's where I think they're going to draw the line. And there's a Phil Spencer interview which he alludes to this, where he says, listen, we want to be inclusive to all platforms, but to do that, we are done piecemealing games to different places. We want them to have the full Xbox experience, which we think is Game Pass. And that was a Phil Spencer quote. I'll have to see if I can drag it out. And I think there's precedent with Bethesda. They really talked about this game, about Bethesda games being more inclusive to different platforms, and they're not going other places. They're sticking right with the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah. Apart from you can still play Doom, you can buy and play Doom Eternal on a PlayStation.
Yes.
And the new Skyrim game you can buy and play on a PlayStation.
Well, but those aren't new. Those are games that were previous. Starfield is exclusive to, I believe, I'm almost 100% certain, it's going to be exclusive to the Xbox system. Now I feel like I should look that up so that I know I'm not wrong. Come at me, bro.
Yeah, like I say, it's things like that. It's watching what they're going to do with the new Bethesda games this year to see how they'll handle Activision going forwards. That's the way I look at it, because I cannot see them, especially with such a big game like Call of Duty. I cannot see them basically forcing people towards that subscription service.
Yeah. Starfield is exclusive to Xbox Series X, S, and PC. So.
Well, I'm okay. Give it 12 months, and I could be eating my words and keep saying, "Sorry, Nick," but yeah, you're correct.
Well, we'll see. I mean, no, it's an interesting strategy. They need Game Pass to be profitable, and we're fairly certain Game Pass is not yet profitable. And getting 100 million subscribers on Game Pass, I bet makes it profitable. And if it doesn't, holy crap, I don't know what does. I mean,
I don't know. I seriously think having your 25 million people subscribe to your service is profitable.
We need to find out when Microsoft's quarters are. Because at the next quarterly, if they mention a lick of profitability, then that means they're there. They have yet to ever do that. They only talk about revenue. And if you're in an investor's call, you're going to mention profitability if you got profitability. Yeah. Otherwise, that's why you're just talking about revenue. So if they even hint at we're close to profitability or Microsoft Game Pass is profitable or anything like that, it means that they see their future. They see, and the moment Game Pass is profitable, it's in the bag for them. I mean, they've got what they want. They've got what they've spent years losing money trying to get, and that'll be huge. That's a huge win. Because this whole Game Pass thing had to be a huge gamble when they set up to do it. So, man, what a great time to have a podcast called Game Pass News, Sean.
Yeah, I know. When you've got the likes of Phil Spencer just chucking billions of dollars around.
So much fun. All right, guys, we have spent, how much time have we spent? 35 minutes talking about this acquisition. But, I probably could talk about it more. But let's move on. We have predictions. We feel, we got to keep this thing going. The Nintendo dads do them every year. We thought we would do some predictions. Man, you got a lot of good ones up here, and I feel like you're gonna blow me out of the water. I'm not gonna lie. So, why don't you go first, And
so yeah, if I'm going to go first, I'm gonna go from the middle of the pile or middle of the list, the ones that I've got, and I put Xbox to absorb Sega. Now, just hang on. This was that I wrote this. I made this prediction. I wrote this down before the Activision acquisition, and that's because I've got a feeling, because they've worked so closely with Sega for this new Sonic game, I kind of had this feeling that before the new Sonic game comes out, they're going to turn around and say, we have bought a vast amount of Sega's, stock, and we are now like the majority shareholder. That's the kind of thing I thought they were going to do. Now they've bought Activision, and kind of like sat there thinking, we could probably just fucking buy Sega. What has Sega made in the last 10 years and to actually be worth much other than remakes of old games for Nintendo and stuff like that? So it's kind of like, I don't know about that one, but I thought I'd stick that one out there first because it's hot. It's hot news at the moment that Phil's going around buying everything.
That would be that would literally light the gamers on fire. Like, I mean, Activision pissed off a lot of people that was now owning that they now owned it, but if they bought Sega, I just feel like people would just lose their freaking minds. I mean, seriously. I don't even want to know what would happen. I'm trying to look up Sega's valuation at the moment to see how much money it would take to buy them.
I don't know.
But I'm having trouble just like finding
with your 70 billion.
What's another 70 billion? Open up the silver coffers, Phil. I wonder how that works. If Phil's just like, listen, we're gonna buy a bunch of crap, so yeah, just get ready. Just get ready, Nadella. That's the plan. No, I can't find it. It's gonna take too long.
So in the fiscal year of 2021, Sega Samy's total assets amounted to 421.5 billion Japanese yen, which
I can't do that, man. I don't know what that is. I'd have to look it up. I'd have to use a converter. If only they had those on the internet, Sean. I don't know if they do.
That's currently what I'm doing.
Okay, you do that. I'll go on. I think, and I'm surprised you don't have this one. I'm going low hanging.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
$3.7 million.
3.7 million? Is there total valuation?
2021, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that works out, though. It's got to be more than that, because I don't know. To buy it, that doesn't make sense. Sega's worth more than that. I mean, I know they haven't done anything for a while. I get it, but yeah, I don't know. They were more profitable than that. It says that oh no, this is just Sega Toys. They might be broken up into a million different individual companies too. So it might be really hard to like find that valuation without having to go through a whole bunch of stuff. So anyways, let's move on. But sure, I mean, if Microsoft wanted to buy them, they probably didn't even take out a loan for this $69 billion. So they just have to take a loan out maybe for Sega. Big deal. I think there's gonna be Doom DLC coming out this year. That's what I think. That's not near.
What did they do last time? Doom. They did the thingy of the gods, didn't they?
Yeah.
Doom Eternal. So yeah, I could see something different.
Yeah.
I mean, it blew up hell, and then tried to overtake heaven. I didn't finish the DLC, so I can't really remember how it ended.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Mine's not near as crazy as taking over Sega, so I feel like you should get 2 points. I will say this too. I will put this in our notes, Sean. If this happens, Sean gets 2 points. So because that's pretty crazy. So there you go.
So my other one, and it's kind of like my predictions are kind of like my wish lists a little bit. So Square Enix will pull the finger out of their asses and make the new Tomb Raider, which needs to be made because I'm sick of playing the last two Tomb Raiders over and over.
I mean, I could see that. I don't think that's too crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry for using the analogy of pulling the fingers out of their asses, but I currently feel like that's what they've done.
Hey, that's so we have one of the same. Let's chat about this. Because this is like my big one. Now they've talked about doing this. I think it's almost not fair to say Xbox will make like its own xCloud. Well, let me just say, I think they'll come out with a controller, because that's the one thing they haven't talked about. A Wi-Fi enabled controller for xCloud. Was that you have something on here about hardware for xCloud? What were you thinking?
So I didn't know if they were going to try and release like a smaller version of the Series S without the hard drive that was just cloud only, tiny little thing.
Oh, so like a Roku. Well, yeah, they've already talked about doing a Roku, like doing a stick. So, but you're just saying you think it's going to be out this year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think I if it's not out this year, wow, Microsoft really screwed the pooch on that one. I mean, just to be honest, it needs to be out this year because Stadia keeps gaining momentum, and if they don't get it out, then they're not gonna get behind, because xCloud's real solid, but without the hardware like you're talking about, it's just not the same. So
I mean again, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're fine.
So this is again another wish list, but it's kind of like, I think it's a wish list for the entire of the gaming community. Rockstar to drop a little bit of Grand Theft Auto news at the potential E3 that could run, to be released at the holidays.
Okay, drop a new GTA for the holidays, or news about a new GTA?
News about a new GTA for the holidays. So, like, if E3 doesn't happen, then we'll probably get some kind of Super Bowl style trailer from Rockstar for GTA, which kind of, so they can showcase it, or they'll try and attach it to something, and then the release for that will be in the holidays. It's kind of like a 2-part one. So.
Okay, all right, I get it. So they're gonna drop news in the middle of so Rockstar to drop news in the middle of the year.
Yeah, using the first quarter, and then GTA to come out
about a new GTA for the holidays of 2022. Well, I mean, why would they do that? They're still making poop tons of money off of GTA 5. You people need to stop playing GTA 5, then we'll get a new one. It's like Mario Kart, Y'all need to stop buying Mario Kart so we get a new one. Okay, so the next one, I think Fable will be announced at a event. I know this is like yours, but I'm sorry. Fable will be announced at an E3 style event, because we don't know if E3 is being held. Announced at an E3 style event for for 2023. That's what I think.
Okay. Apologies for the noises you can hear. The bench in our kitchen's kind of like not happy about me being sat in the middle of it for so long.
If Sean just like goes down, we'll know what happens now.
Okay.
So you do your Fable one.
So I think it's most likely going to be delayed. I think we're going to have news that it was, because I thought it was going to come out this year. I was like, they haven't told us anything. I'm waiting for like a big announcement drop all at the same time. So yeah, I think it's most likely going to be delayed. I think it'll be like holidays 2023 before we see it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you can't be delayed because we literally don't know when it's going to be out.
No, we don't. No, I was kind of like, we'll get news and then it will get delayed. But
I was shocked you chose holiday 2023. I really thought you were going to say, because I think I will admit, this is kind of a wish list for me. If I'm going to be real honest, I think it might be 2024. Like, that hurts me inside to say it, but we have not even seen gameplay of this yet. Like,
No.
okay, so
But then we
Fable.
didn't until what? Like when did Dread come out? And then how long did it take for them to have
Oh no,
like gameplay footage of Dread? It kind of like it happened all in 6 months. It was like boom, 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 boom.
yeah,
There
but
it is.
that's a Nintendo thing. That's not how. That's not how Microsoft usually works. Now, here's how we might be right.
Microsoft they've just spent $70 billion on buying Activision that nobody saw happening. So Xbox and Microsoft right now could do anything.
Fair point. Fair point. Here's how we could be right, Sean. Because this is what they could pull the Halo Infinite thing, where they come out and they're like, "Yeah, holiday 2023," and they're like, "We ain't gonna make that date." And we're gonna be like, "We got it, we're right." But then holiday 2023 rolls around, and they're gonna be like, "Nah, we're gonna push this to 2024." We always knew that. We just thought we'd say it was gonna be for the holiday 2023. That tends to be a Microsoft hallmark, to be honest. I think Starfield will hit its 11/11/22 date. It will not be delayed. It will not be pushed. It will come out buggy as hell, but it will come out for 11/11/22.
You think it's going to be the Xbox version of No Man's Sky?
I hope not, man. But I'm so worried it is gonna be. I can't even tell you because I have a feeling like they came out and just like put their flag in 11/11/22, and I think that they're gonna. Hopefully they don't. Like hopefully they learn from No Man's Sky and from Cyberpunk and all of that. That they're like, listen, let's just bite the bullet and push it if they need to. But I think it will. I think they'll hit 11/11/22. I'm not saying that it's going to be a good game, but I think they're going to hit that date.
Yeah. And then I've got rid of one. I'm going to get rid of the other because I've kind of already spoken about it. I don't think it's going to happen at all, so I'm not even going to mention it. So my last one is that with Activision now being under the Microsoft gaming umbrella, I think we're going to see the Crash Bandicoot trilogies and the Spyro trilogies. Right? Okay. So we're going to see not remasters and remakes, but we're going to see like the old games come to Game Pass News along with the new ones as well. We're going to like see a big drop of you can play these games like as of this day.
Okay. In this year.
Yeah, as a show of goodwill, like I think as it's basically comes closer and closer to the Activision deal being closed, I think that's when we're going to start seeing more Activision games on Game Pass.
Yeah. No, I don't think that is too far-fetched. And I think you're right. Once this acquisition enters the court system and they feel comfy cozy that they're going to make it looks like it's going the right way, then yeah, I could totally see stuff starting. Phil start being like, come on, just let's get this over here. You know, we're a signature away and 8 months of court waiting. That's all we got left. So yeah, I could see that. I've got to put a 4 in front. You have so many more than me. Or not so many, but you got 2 more than me. I don't really have any others. And I was trying to think of one. No, I'm just gonna stick with 4. So, man, if I get 2 of these wrong, I'm pretty much host. But that's okay. You know, we'll take it.
I know for a fact that there isn't going to be a new Tomb Raider, and with GTA, it's just not going to happen for a while yet because people are still playing the original. So,
I know,
not the original, but 5. So you know that's already boo 2 of mine. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
We're our own worst enemy when it comes to games. We just play the old stuff and then complain about why we don't have new stuff. All right, guys, that is our top stories. News bulletins for this week. Only one, but it's a big one. Jeff Grubb of VentureBeat says E3 is a mess and probably canceled. How is this possible? I know this is supposed to be a news bulletin, but I want to chat about it for a second. How can they screw up I don't understand. Like what? Like I
know.
don't know. I'd love to understand.
Was E3 last year not digital?
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically they just go, look, this is what we did last year. This is how well it worked. Let's do the same thing. Just do it. I don't know. I don't know I don't know how much clout Jeff Grubb has in the journalist world for gaming. So
he's pretty
there's
good.
A part of this.
He's
yeah,
pretty good.
So then there's part of me is like, do I take this with a pinch of salt? And this guy's just having a slow news day, and he kind of wanted people to go through his article and read it.
No, I don't think so. That's
like,
not Jeff. That's not from what I've seen him put out. And he's been on the Nintendo Dads a few times. He's usually pretty close to spot on. So I would. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's 100% true, but there's definitely some smoke where he's claiming fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then also on the flip side of it, like Xbox did their own showcase event. What's stopping them from doing? We'll showcase ours. You showcase yours, Sony. You showcase yours, Nintendo. Hey, Oculus, you've joined the party over the Christmas holidays. Why don't you come and do something as well?
That would be cool. That's why I think it's a mess. I mean, maybe logistically it's a mess too, but where I think the mess really comes in at is they're going to the big three, they're going to these platforms, they're going to the AAA developers, and they're saying, hey, E3 is going to be digital, so you come on over and we'll do something. And they're like, no, we're good. You know, we got a following on our platform. We don't really need to put it on your platform. So you do your thing, we'll do ours. And they're like, well, we don't have a thing unless you come over here. So please, you know,
I'll be your friend.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly that. So I think that's where the mess comes in, and that's why it's probably canceled. I mean, you have Nintendo, Xbox, Sony. Now, really, you know, you normally would have like a Bethesda. Is Activision going to be there? Probably not. I mean, I guess no, probably because they're not there yet. And it's like if you got EA and Ubisoft, those are the ones I missed. And Sega maybe. If 2 or 3 of those fall out, then you're left with a very lackluster, not much there deal. But I will say, look at all of the world premieres that Jeff Keighley got for the Game Awards. I mean,
man,
if you can't muster up something that either meets that or hopefully beats that, then yeah, I guess why not cancel? I don't know. That's a bummer though. It's just kind of like always been a cool little thing where you could hang out and watch, and it kind of coalesces gamers.
I guess once COVID stops doing the rounds, and because I can't believe we still talk about that. You know, it's 3 years of talking about a viral, like a respiratory disease that's killing people. Once that stops being a big issue, and you can go back to the convention that is E3, because that's what it was. It was people going to these conventions to see the games, to play the games, to do that kind of stuff. That's probably when E3 will come back into its own again. But until then, this digital media side of things is just, he says as he's creating a podcast, which is all digital media. But anyway, the digital media for the big like developers and like I said, the AAA developers and stuff like that, and big stuff like this, it just, you don't get the same feels for it. So people aren't as invested in doing it. So,
yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with that. And I really think the problem is exactly that. Is like, well, you just said like, well, except us creating a digital. We've created our own little digital, podcast media here, and so have all these other platforms, and they don't, they don't want to put their stuff on some random third-party platform. They want to be able to control it all and put it out the way they want to on their platform. And why not? Why wouldn't you? It's like, well, we've already done the work. Why do we want to pay you to do what we could do, maybe even better? So yeah, makes sense. Those are our news bulletins and our spotlights for our top stories for the day. On to Xbox Spotlight, what we've been playing. I will let you go first, Sean, as it looks like you have one game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I only have one game.
You're addicted.
It is like a heroin addiction. It literally is like a heroin addiction. This game is awful for me. If you watch the stream of me playing it yesterday, I spend at least 20 to 30% of the time like this, hands over my face, can't bear to look at the screen, and dead. It's just okay. The absolute pros to this game, it's really well made. I've had one bug with it so far, and it's because I ran out of bombs. I ran out of bombs. I ran out of ropes. I couldn't get out of a spot, and I was like, "Let's kill myself then." So I ended the adventure, which kills you and kicks you back out of the caves. But like, I have had no issues with it. I've had no like getting stuck in graphics. I haven't had jittery music. I haven't had the game taking time to catch up. It runs so well. The graphics are great. It's a really nice like 2D side scroller graphic game. The colors are great. It's dark where it needs to be dark. There's runs that you get to do through certain caverns where you have to like carry a torch, and that's done really well. The brightness is done really well for that. The music, I haven't had to turn the game music off, which is a big shock because that's the first thing I usually do. And then like just the variety of things that happen. So there's so many different enemies. The entire of the terrain can be destroyed. You can collect and buy certain items to make the game easier or harder for some of them. And it's just relentless. And like, I hated Hades for the fact that like you constantly had to run the game in Hades to power up and get better and get further. In this game, you just have to constantly run. Each run is different, but you don't bring anything with you from your previous run. You just start again. And it's a start again and don't die. You get 4 hearts, so you get 4 opportunities to be hit, and then it's just game over. And it's just it's relentless. It's so much fun to play. I can play it in front of the kids because it's got that cartoon style death to it rather than it being a really gory, bloody death. So like they can sit with me and play it, and we can laugh, and they laugh at me, and they laugh at me a lot. but yeah, and it's really fun game. Like the story behind it, I don't know a great lot of the story behind it because I only know the first bit. I haven't got any further to know the rest of it. But Andros did a really good justice of trying to sell this game, got me to play it, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I can't see me finishing it this year.
If Spelunky is heroin, then that means Andros is a heroin dealer. So now we know. Yeah. So there you go. There you go. I love it. Yeah, Spelunky 2. I've played the tutorial, and that's about as far as I got. I'm not going to lie. So, my bad. But I did beat a game. I beat 2, actually. 2 games. 2 games this week, so I keep my streak going, which is exciting. I beat Myst Remastered. I've talked about this game enough. My mom and I were playing it together. Great game for nostalgia, not a great game in the current world of game development. It's about all I need to say. There are better puzzle games out there now, but it's a classic if you played it back in the day. I've played Summertime Madness, which is not on Game Pass, but it is. By the way, Myst isn't on Game Pass either. It's on the Switch and maybe the Microsoft Store. I'm not really certain. Anyways, I played Summertime Madness, which comes out on the 25th on the Microsoft Store. Big thanks to Sometimes You for giving us a code, so we could review it for you guys. I will have a review out, hopefully, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But we'll have it out before the game for sure, or before the game drops for sure. And it will also be out on the Nintendo Dad's YouTube as well. So you'll be able to see it in both spots. This game is set in a painting, and this is really hard to explain. It is you're a painter and you jump in the painting, but your painting is set in the time frame of 1954 war-torn Prague. So you meet this guy, he's like, hey, do you want to get out of this nasty environment for a day? If you do, I'll let you jump into a painting. But if you don't get out by midnight, then you're stuck in the painting forever. So you agree to jump in the painting, and you literally have like 3... You can choose when you start the game if you want to play it on hard, which is you have 3 hours to beat the game. If you don't beat it in 3 hours, then game over, you're stuck on the painting. 6, or you can do explorer mode and have forever. The puzzles are well done. I thought they were fun. They weren't too obtuse for the most part. There was one where I was like, yeah, probably would have never got that. I had to actually look it up. I was like, um, and there's one I thought was pretty obtuse. But other than that, my only complaint for the game is you're allowed to run. You can actually like just turn on continuous run, so your guy always runs because there's a lot of walking. These puzzles have you like up and down stairs, and you're walking through this big town puzzle at one point, and it seems to take forever. And even when you're running, there were times I pushed the X button because I was like, I don't think he's running, but he was because walking was slower. I think the walking speed needs to be, or the running speed needs to be the walking speed, and then there needs to be a speed above all that that goes a little bit faster. I feel like your character is just a bit too slow at times. But other than that, it's a really good game. It's a short experience, but it's got a fun story, and if you like environmental puzzles, then you should give it a shot. It's a little trippy at times. I didn't always understand like why there was this weird guy without a head, or why I was going through these random doors that had words on them. I feel like they're trying to get to a meta place. No pun intended. I don't mean it like the metaverse, but they're trying to get a meaning behind the meaning, and I didn't always pick it up. I'll give you that. But other than that, it's a fun puzzler. Better than Myst. Let me say that. And that's all I got.
Fair enough. Cool. So breaking news for games that are out just this week. We've got, and I'm going to have fun trying to say this, Danganronpa, Trigger Happy, can't do the easy bit, Trigger Happy Havoc Edition, which came out on the 18th. I'm now trying to find some information out about that game.
We have Nobody Saves the World, which is an action RPG by Drinkbox, the guys who made Guacamelee. Really wanted to be able to chat about this week, but I was not able to. I didn't get to it. I chose to sleep instead of stream last night. So my bad.
So very quickly going back to Danganronpa. You get to investigate murder, search for clues, and talk to your classmates to prepare for a trial. There, you'll engage a deadly world play, going back and forth with suspects, dissect their statements, and fire their words back at them. I had a quick look at this to play it, and it looked a little bit too anime for me, and so I kind of swerved away from it a little bit.
You got Paparazzi, who came. If you want to look at the next game, then we'll just back and forth. How about that? Look at that. We're like a team. We got Paparazzi that came out today, or is coming out today. Today being Thursday. I had to literally think. But by the time you're listening to this on Saturday, I'm sure it'll be on there already. You get to take pictures of your dogs. Basically, it's like consider Harv's Studio and Animal Crossing, except it's all about dogs. You get to dress them and take pictures of them, and maybe Sean will give us a let's play of that. I'm not sure.
Thanks for that. I deserve that. So you've got the other game on the list is Windjammers. That comes out on the 20th, or today, if you're with us now. And that is, they can't turn around and say the best flying disc game of all time is back with amazing hand-drawn graphics, crazy new moves, gameplay mechanics, and awesome new characters and stages. Windjammers 2 is the sequel you've been dreaming of. I never played Windjammers 1, so I never dreamt of the sequel, but it sounds like a lot of fun.
Maybe when you play the game, Sean, you'll be like, holy shit, I did dream of this game, and I didn't even know it because I never played it. You have Death's Door, big get for Game Pass. Game of the Year contender. Many people thought it was Game of the Year. I will say that the Dads After Dark crew wasn't like down on it, but they didn't seem to be as high on it as I thought maybe they would. A dark mystery to unravel, track down and defeat colossal tyrants. I think it's roguelike. I'm fairly certain. I'm going to look that up. You move on, and I'll.
Yeah, it says here as well that ultimate players can play on the mobile devices with touch controls. So I think they might have this might be quite a good one for touch controls, and you sat on the sofa playing it.
Hey, that's where I do my best gaming. I'm not going to lie. Right on the sofa.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction comes out on the 20th as well. Has come out today. I'm a little bit excited for this. It's kind of like a zombie style. Well, not really zombie styling, but
it's aliens, right? Isn't it aliens?
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Aliens. And obviously, Tom Clancy makes great first-person shooter games, and for this to be a tactical co-op first-person shooter for up to 3 players, you know, I'm looking forward to playing it. 90 different weapons and gadgets, 12 ever-evolving maps, unpredictable enemy mutations, and 13 dynamic mission types. So, you know, they're kind of saying that you can play this game and never play it again, and like play the same style each time you play it. So I'm quite looking forward to giving that a go.
Yeah, I will say, and I'm going to be much more up on reviews because I've joined Hambone Johnny's League video game where reviews matter a lot. I will say the reviews are a little like meh, you know, not bad but not great either. So I will say that's been its current pacing in the reviews world. But you know, that doesn't always mean anything. That doesn't mean it's not going to be a fun time. So for sure. And I guess Death's Door is just an RPG, not roguelike. My bad. So I take it all back. The Hitman trilogy. Man, I'm excited for this. I want to go and play the first one and see if I like it as much as I remember liking it. I had a great time. I remember playing it. I think I played it on easy, and it was a lot of fun. And then I went back and played it on like normal mode, and it was way too hard. I was like, I kept like making the guards realize that I was there, and I was like, no, I'm done. I'm out. So that's what I remember playing it back in the day. So I'm excited to go in and play it. If you haven't played it, it's a stealthy style game. It's almost really like a puzzler, to be honest. Like you get a mission, you enter this mini sandbox environment, and you just kind of have to figure out how to get to the person you need to kill. And that doesn't sound like a puzzle game, but it really is, because it's like, well, I need to take out this person and put them here, and then I need to hide over in this little nook so that guy doesn't see me, and it's really just kind of like a puzzler of how do I get to the person that I need to kill and get them taken care of. So I'm excited I'll probably stream some of that.
Yeah. Hitman, I don't know. I've watched my friend who does quite a bit of streaming, Super King Andy. I watched him do a bit of Hitman, and I've watched his Hitman videos on YouTube. And you can have a lot of fun with it. You can take people out with a fish. So, you know, there's a comical aspect to it as well, with it being quite a dry looking game.
Yeah. Yeah, like here's a point that I absolutely love in Hitman. So like they have obviously programmed the guys to have a moment where they're like, once you cross a line, they get super pissed. So like, you know, you're walking up to them, say you're just like 10 paces away from them, and they're like, hey chap, how you doing? Nice to see you. But the moment you get 9 paces away, they're like, what the fuck, get away from me or I'm gonna kill you. And you're like, wow, that's a large acceleration in anger there, pal. I mean, like, I just took 1 step, and he just like gets like totally changes. They all pull their weapons out and everything. It's like not real world at all, but it's pretty funny.
Wow. And then the last game in this list, which is coming out January 27th, is Daiko no Tatsujin. I don't know. I wish I'd pick easier games to kind of talk about. This is a rhythm game. So if you play it on the controller, it's just a tap and smash kind of rhythm game to along 70 different songs. I've not seen any video preview of it. I like rhythm games, hence why I play Beat Saber. But yeah, I probably might, depending on what the songs are, I could give this a miss. But it is a multiplayer mode, and you can do online ranked matches as well.
Yeah, that sounds great, and I'm just glad I did not get that game to have to pronounce, because it sounds pretty bad. Stalker 2, what's on the horizon? Stalker 2 has been delayed until December 2022, so it got a 8-month delay. I feel like that's just something you got to do. You know, I just feel like games have to get their delay. It's just a thing that they do. We have some questions. We'll hit those up because Sean has kids that he has to pick up. Otherwise, they'll be trapped at school for the rest of their lives, and we don't want that. The bye-bye mode has not changed. I don't think. Maybe Xbox has gotten some new games, and we haven't gotten out to it yet. But there's not much new stuff there. So I will let Sean wrap us up.
Yeah. If you follow us on Twitter, you'll have already seen that we've retweeted that we'll be joining the Nintendo Heads tonight on their show, which is why we're recording and going live earlier today than normal. It's to allow myself to go to bed earlier tonight so I can wake up at 3:00 in the morning and try and make some sense of what I'm doing with my life there.
You're a trooper, man. You're a trooper.
Yeah. It's my last day off as well tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be really tired. Yeah, that's it for us in this episode. As always, socials are at Game Pass News. That's Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. If you are listening to us via your podcasting service and you've got the ability to give us some feedback, please do so. It helps us beat the algorithm and get noticed and higher up. If you want to message in and tell us anything, if you send us an email at gamepassnewscast@gmail.com, you can reach out to us there. Head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, and for a little as $1 a month, you can join in on the Discord, which is where we can talk to you directly. One of us is always available if you want to ask a question, or if you just want to chat with a lot of like-minded dads that like to play a lot of video games. It's a great place to hang out. Thanks very much for Hambo and Johnny being in the live chat in today's show, and until next time, see you later.
See you later, guys.